Hello, it's day 20. Forgive my hair. I'm still self-conscious about this. I did this new thing yesterday and I hate it. So I'm trying to figure out how to wear it, or if I just take this all out and start over. So it's day 20. It's always something sticking to my lip gloss. I don't even know why I wear lip gloss because I always have this problem. It's day 20 and I yesterday was going through it because I ate something that had a little bit of egg in it yesterday. The tiniest bit, like almost infinitesimal. Lies. It was enough to make me sick. I was sick. And I was sick in the usual way that I get sick now when I have any kind of animal product, which is eggs, fish, or meat for me. I was fine when I ate it. I didn't even finish all of it. I actually got it and I was worried about the tofu in it. So basically I got a Thai dish called pad see ew, very delicious. I highly recommend it. It's just a traditional Thai dish. You can get it in any Thai restaurant, has it. Delicious. And it's flat, wide rice noodles with broccoli, a sort of a brown, I think it's a hoisin sauce, but I don't know Thai cooking, so I could be very wrong about that. Tofu, because I opted for tofu. You can get other meats, fishes, shrimp, whatever. You can get other vegetables added to it, whatever, but I got it with tofu because I wanted to try my reaction to tofu. And in the sauce is a little bit of egg. I forgot that it had egg in it until it arrived. When it got there, I was like, ooh, there's egg here. I'll eat around it. I also was sort of doing a little experiment with the tofu because I wasn't sure my reaction was going to be. So I was like, you know what, I'll eat one later, but I was at work. So I wanted to be careful of having a kind of food reaction at work. So I opted for just to eat around it and ate the noodles, which I know I wasn't going to have a problem with because I haven't all week had problems with noodles. The sauce, which seemed okay, but I would like avoid the bits that had egg on it. Of course, I couldn't avoid all of it and I ate some of it. And I knew I was eating some of it. And I really thought it's such a small amount, it'll be fine. I'm able to eat butter, so I should be able to eat a small amount of egg. Well, that was wrong. I cannot eat a small amount of egg. I suffered. I ate that around midday. By 4 o'clock, the bloat was starting. I was, I'm at work, so it's like I can't just belch all over the place. It's just weird, but I can't hold it in because it releases the pain from the bloating. So you're in a horrible position. I'm running back and forth to the bathroom, going, and then running back to my desk. Thankfully, the person who sits next to me has struggled for years with indigestion. So she has noticed what's happening to me. And while I haven't told her what it really is, she knows there's indigestion happening. So she's been really helpful of like, I know like stuff's happening. If you feel like you have to burp, like go for it. Don't feel like you have to hold back. But I can't do that with everything, right? So I can't just be tooting at my desk, right? So anyway, I get through, so it starts around 4. By 5:30, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm not gonna be able to make it. It's the end of the day anyway. So I leave, I come home. By 6 o'clock, I'm walking down the street to my apartment. My stomach was like this. I had on a dress, sort of a little bit fitted at the top, little flare at the, like long flare, like it's like a long dress, but flared a little bit. And I had a belt on that cinched it. I had to get that belt off of me because I was bursting through it. And my stomach really looked like I was pregnant. Like if you saw me, you would have thought I was a pregnant woman. And I think I said this before, when I get bloated like that, I start to walk differently. I start to waddle. There's no other way to say it. So it physically affects the way I move. It is so uncomfortable. So I get home, finally I'm home, I can burp, toot, whatever I gotta do. And the process happens, which I've talked about before. The process is the bloat happens, and then suddenly the gas is erupting out of you. You just get these uncontrollable burps just popping up out of you. That goes on for hours. Each step goes on for hours. You'll sleep a little bit, but I couldn't sleep a lot. I woke up around midnight, couldn't get back to sleep until 4. woke up again, fell off asleep around 4, woke up again around 7 because it's a work day for me. And at 7 o'clock when I woke up, part 3 of the process was starting, and that is the runs. And so, once again, I'm glad I'm at home because I got to be close to the bathroom. It's so crazy. This thing is it's so crazy. That was my day 19. Today is day 20. So let me talk about today. Today I haven't eaten really anything yet, but I woke up with a craving for fruit. Now, in the past, in these 2.5 weeks that I've had this balloon, when this horrible thing is happening with the bloat, the gas, the diarrhea, the day after I go on liquids, and that seems to kind of get me back to normal. So that was going to be my plan today. Just go back to liquids, chicken soup, my vitamin waters, any kind of hydrating drink, my coconut water, tea, the clear protein water, literally just sticking to that. But I woke up this morning with a craving for fruit, and I realized I haven't actually eaten fruit since this started. I haven't really eaten fruit since this started, not fresh fruit. So I had a grapefruit, and I'm just gonna eat this grapefruit. I ate that. It actually felt good because it was so juicy. It felt good going down, fresh. I didn't have any problem so far with it. Didn't feel any acidic thing, didn't have any kick up with the indigestion. In fact, it felt good and soothing almost. I was planning to then just keep on the liquids. But crazy as it might sound, I decided to do one last experiment today because I looked in the fridge and I saw these 4 big containers of yogurt that I had bought in earlier stages of the balloon when, I guess the first week when I was able to start eating kind of solid foods again. That in-between phase really between clear liquids and solids. There's this in-between phase where you can eat kind of, I guess, opaque liquids and soft, mushy food. So I had bought 4 big containers, like 16-ounce containers of yogurt. And I was digesting them just fine. Once I started having the reaction to the fish, the eggs, and the meat, I got really careful about animal products and I decided to not eat that yogurt. But today I'm kind of like, well, let's find out. So that's my big experiment today. I haven't eaten it yet, but I'm going to eat it. It's around lunchtime now. Yeah, it's like 12:15. I'm going to have a little bowl of yogurt. I'm going to eat it slowly and we'll see what that does to me. I'm hoping that it doesn't do anything, that I'm fine. And so at least I can keep the groceries that I bought, but also keep that in my diet because I like that. I like yogurt with a little bit of fruit. If I don't tolerate it, then of course I have to give those away. Toss out the ones that aren't, or the ones that are open, and give away. I have some family coming up again soon, so I'll just see if they want to take yogurt or want to eat yogurt while they're here. It feels weird to say I'm experimenting, but I am experimenting. And I realized that I'm experimenting all of these days on food. Even yesterday with the Thai food, that was an experiment. Now I know, okay, even the smallest amount of egg, really much less than a forkful of egg, of a scrambled egg. The tiniest amount of egg I can't digest. That's knowledge I now have. The meat and fish, that's knowledge I now have. So it's weird, but I'm finding that the first couple of weeks for me with this Gastric Balloon 6 months program is that I'm just testing what I can tolerate. I'm testing the foods I can tolerate. That's a weird vibe. When it fails miserably, terribly. And like I said before, that's an 18-hour window of misery that kicks in that I have to go through. But at least I know now. Now I don't know after a month or so with the balloon if I will still have these extreme reactions to these foods. But for the moment, I plan to just eliminate them from my diet for the entire 6 months. I think I can get by without them easily. So I will report tomorrow on how my day went today, tonight, and tomorrow morning with the yogurt. And it'll be plain yogurt or just vanilla flavored yogurt. There's a probiotic yogurt in there too that I want to try. I guess probably better to eat the probiotic yogurt just because it's good to have those good that good bacteria in your gut. I am home today. I get to stay home today for work and stay home tonight. I don't have anything planned tonight. I do have a party to go to tomorrow evening, but it's very late. I think it starts at like 10 and it's at a friend's house. So I'm just watching the window, but that's what my life is now. Like I gotta time the I gotta figure out the timing of these windows for my reactions to foods and who I'm gonna be around. Because here's the thing, when that bloat hits and that gas hits, you have to be alone or you have to be around people who love you very much and are willing to experience your gaseous state. So I can't do that at work. So I have to plan this out. And so today being a Friday, being a work from home day, it's a good day for me to test a little bit, also just small amounts, not big ones. So that's my lesson for today. The last food test, I think everything else I kind of know are things that I like to eat. I know what my limits are and I know what I can and can't do. I also want to make a confession. So, I talked in one of the videos earlier during, I think, the first week of my life with this balloon that I got the garbage burps. I called them the garbage burps because it was the first time I had burps erupting out of me that I couldn't even control, burps that were coming up without even any warning. I realized now that it was a reaction to a little piece of whitefish that I had. I don't remember if it was cod or if it was whitefish or whatever. It was a little piece of fish that I had and then a little bit of tuna that I'd had later on in the day, that it was the fish. But at that time I didn't know. When those burps happened, I also experienced that phenomenon that a lot of people who had this balloon had talked about, which was that there is this sort of funky burp smell that comes out of you. The nutritionist had warned me about it and said, look, even if you eat a salad, lettuce is notorious for getting stuck to the balloon. So things like that will stick to the balloon, they will rot in your stomach acids, and that will create that smell. So you gotta wash your balloon by drinking a Coca-Cola. I assume any fizzy drink will do, but she told me drink a Coke, a Diet Coke specifically. Don't know why, but she said maybe to avoid the sugar, maybe because as my coworker who struggles with indigestion for like 15 years said to me, sugar is a trigger for her. It sets off I guess the acidity or something, I don't know, but she's like, that gives her indigestion, kind of acidy reflux symptoms. So, I don't know if that's another reason why they suggested a sugar-free Coke. Anyway, so I had funky burps. They didn't smell putrid, right? They didn't smell like sulfuric, like rotted food. They smelled, I mean, when I said trash can, like that's what I meant. Like they smelled like a trash can that needs washing out, which is I'm not proud to, I'm very ashamed to admit that smell came out of me. But like the confession that I want to make is that I cheated in the first couple of days. I had a hankering for, I should get them, gummy bears. I call them gummy bears because where I grew up, it was pronounced gummy. I know in the US we say gummy. So I had a hankering for those. So I got the Haribo, which is like the Haribo brand, traditional gummy bears, German style. I got them and I ate just a couple, just like a handful over 2 days. I thought it was okay because I was chewing the hell out of them and I was almost like sucking on them until they were like disintegrating a little bit. Here's the thing. They're not food. I mean, they're not food. They're a candy, but they're not even like, I don't even know if anything in them is real. They're basically plastic. I mean, the word gummy that is in their name, that we call it gummy means rubber. So even as I was eating them, I was like, oh, well, these will be fine even if they get stuck to my balloon because they're not food. So if they sit in my gastric acids, like what's gonna happen to them? They're not an organic food. They're plastic basically. Well, I realize Now, I'm pretty sure now that that's why my burps had that particular smell, because it was those gummy bears, because of course sticky, super sticky, got stuck to my balloon. And yes, they were cooking in those gastric acids. And no, they didn't have organic matter in them. And they were plastic. And so they got that weird smell that you have almost like when you burn plastic. Like it smells weird, but it's not like a putrid, rotted food smell, which is the smell that people had described of their burps on this. We use it with this balloon. I didn't have that smell. I had this weird smell, and I really think it was because it was the gummy bear stuck to my balloon, and because they're plastic basically. They're nothing, they're this weird artificial material. They gave off that weird smell. I say that because there was like nothing else I had eaten that week that really could have gotten stuck or had that smell. The fish, had it gotten stuck, would have really been rotten. Also, I say that because once I started having all those crazy reactions, basically after the 2 days eating that candy, I was like, what am I doing? And I got rid of all of it and I stopped. So I haven't eaten that stuff since then, and I haven't had that smell since then. In the meantime, though, I've eaten a lot of other new foods, right? As I was adding in the fish, and I had the chili that day, I was adding in all these different elements of things that definitely could have gotten stuck to my balloon too, and they didn't. So I really think that it was that sticky gummy bear candy that I was eating that got stuck to the balloon. And that's why my burps were that weirdo, not rotted food smell, but something weird smell. That's just an aside. I kind of wanted to confess that, but it's also, again, I'm keeping this as a log of my observations through this process. So just that's what I'm learning. That's it. So tomorrow I will report back on whatever happened to my yogurt experiment. I think I'm going to be okay, because I had yogurt before I thought I would have a problem with it. When you could start adding foods right after the clear liquid phase, I had some yogurt and I didn't have a problem with this. I think I'm going to be okay, which I'm hoping for. Yeah. There's a birthday in my family coming up next week. So my next, I guess, big, or not big thing really, because I feel like it's fine. I know how to handle it, but like dealing with this process in the outside world will be that day. And of course, tomorrow night at the party. But it's a house party and it's really kind of a cost. It's like a New York party. There probably won't even be food. It'll just be drinks. So I think I'll be fine. It'll be so late. I wouldn't, probably eat after 10 o'clock anyway. So that's it. That's my update for day 20. Progress on the balloon. There's no progress. There's no progress. I gained like 3 pounds the other day, then lost 2 pounds the next day. I realize now why the PA said don't get on the scale, because it not only is it disappointing, it's not giving me any information. Like, I don't know what makes me gain, what doesn't. Right now, my diet is maintaining me where I am. I'm fluctuating between the same couple of numbers, no big change. Fears, I fear that it won't work, right? I fear that I have maybe a bigger problem with metabolism, that maybe I ran my metabolism down to 0 because I'm eating so much less. It's super strange that it's not being reflected on the scale after now almost 3 weeks. It's so funny to me now that I feared a while back that the balloon wasn't there. Remember, I really thought like, oh my God, I'm like the guy whose balloon like disappeared halfway through. Like, my balloon is definitely not there because I couldn't feel it at all. Well, that's the days I had eaten clean. When I eat clean, I don't really feel it. But the real truth is, actually, I do feel it now every day. I do bloat a little bit after everything I eat. And I realize now that, of course, that's the balloon. Maybe on those days I didn't realize that, like, the little burps and the bloating, if I had it that day, was a result of that food. But even if I have chicken soup, even if I drink water, tea, just warm water. I find warm water is the best way for me to get as much water drunk every day that I need to have drunk. Is that proper syntax? You know what I mean. Ice cold water seems a little harsher, and I just won't drink it as much. Also, where I am, we're getting into fall season, so it's nice to have kind of a cup of something warm. So I've been just filling up my water bottle actually with warm water. It's metal, so it's fine. And it almost acts like a little bit like a thermos, so it keeps it kind of warm most of the day. Not hot like tea hot, but just warm water, and I can drink that more consistently. My fiance swears he sees the weight loss in my face. I don't see it at all. Again, maybe it's angles. I don't know. I was feeling firmer on my sides, but then I added carbs. And I realize now the firmness was probably coming from having not eaten carbs. The carbs are filling me back out. Them lumps are coming back. So I'm gonna try to get off the carbs. That pad see ew yesterday was enough. I think there's a little bit of pasta left in my kitchen, but it will stay there. I'm gonna try to really keep it on the straight and narrow, because what I don't want is to go to the end of 6 months and say, well, I should have done better. I could have done better. I've seen those videos. You probably have seen those videos too. And to each his own, and everybody's life and walk in this life is different. But for me, it would be a big waste of time and waste of energy and waste of money. This thing, remember, is not free. It ain't cheap. Thousands of dollars, and maybe even more important, like the health journey you go to. Like, I've gone through hell with my health on this balloon just in the first 2.5 weeks. With these foods that I ate that I really wasn't ready to tolerate, that my body wasn't ready to tolerate. So it would be a waste of my of the suffering that I went through to get to the end and not lose weight. So I'm a little afraid of that. I'm a little afraid of being one of those who gets to the end of 6 months and goes, nah, it didn't really do anything for me. We were also hoping to get married in March, and I wanted to look good in my photos, and I wanted to not be embarrassed about my size in my photos. I wanted to have the photos reflect the joy I felt in the moment, because we went on vacation, like the last few months we went on a couple of different vacations, and each time, like, he was taking photos of me and of us, and I would see them and I was like, I'd see the photo and I'd become so sad. But the moment that the photo was taken, the moment it was in, was so happy, and I felt so good. We were together. We were in places that looked and felt like paradise, and there were so much fun. We were on adventures. Like, I was having such a great time. I felt so good. Then I look at the photo and I feel so bad. And like the disparity between that moment in real life versus in the photo, me like experiencing it on the photo is like, look how ugly I look. Versus in the moment when I'm just like, this feels so good. I'm so happy. Obviously for my wedding photos, I don't want that disparity. I want the photos to look how I feel. So I want at the end of 6 months to be small, to not, I just want to feel good at the end of 6 months, because I look good, because I had dropped weight and I no longer am self-conscious about the way I look in photos. That's what I want. I also wanted to be able to wear and buy regular boots for boot season, which is now in the fall. Obviously that was that was ambitious, too ambitious. I don't think I'm gonna get there, since I haven't taken measurements of my body, and the PA on the last check-in call did tell me I should take measurements of my body. I don't know why I'm resistant to that. I don't know why I'm resistant to that. I feel like I want to start measuring things like officially like that once there is a loss. So that's such a rat-finky kind of way to go about it. Like, that's cheating. If I'm gonna do this day to day and log this stuff in day to day, I might as well take the measurements. So, okay, I'll take the measurements, and tomorrow I'll say the measurements, and then we'll see in the next few months how those change or So that's it. That's day 20. I'm really hoping that someday soon these updates are going to be exciting. Fingers crossed. Bye.